our first guest tonight, who is one of the greatest pole vaulters in American history. Katie Moon is an Olympic champion, a world champion, and the first woman in history to win 3 straight world championship gold medals in the pole vault. She won Olympic gold in Tokyo, Olympic silver in Paris, and has stood on podiums across every major global stage. She's right here from Northeast Ohio, proudly as well, and born in Lakewood, raised in Olmsted Falls. She went from a high school state champion to an NCAA champion, and of course, Olympic history and gold. It is our distinct pleasure to welcome into the show Katie Moon.
Hello.
Hey, Katie, how are you? Thanks for joining
us.
How
are you? Thank you for the intro.
Jeremy does a great job with that, and his introductions do not go unnoticed. So, Jeremy, thanks for those.
Yeah. My pleasure.
Yeah. So, thanks for joining us. We're really excited to have you at this show. Being a Clevelander, being an Olympic champion. We were talking earlier. Jeremy asked, what's a favorite non-card memorabilia thing? Do you have anything cool other than medals that you own?
I mean, they give us a lot of gear, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Sure. But I think the medals probably are the coolest thing that I own and maybe ever will own. So
what's the coolest thing you've autographed?
The coolest thing I've autographed, kids will bring in like stubbies of poles that have broken or, are cut short, and getting to sign those. I would say for me, it's pretty much track and field related, or just pictures of myself, which is great and very flattering. But yeah, I can't think of anything that's been like, I've signed body parts, like foreheads, like when I've gone to the kids get really excited. And but yeah,
I'm going to bring a unique item to you.
Okay.
We bought a collection of cards, and I was looking at the wall at this guy's house, and I said, "What is that?" And it was an Olympic torch, and it's in the 2002 Olympics was here in the United States.
Yeah.
And I think they made like 1,000 of them, but they go around the whole country and people carry them for like a half a mile.
Yeah.
And this guy carried a torch in Ohio here, and it's hanging on my wall. It is now not hanging on my wall. It is getting ready to come to the show, and I'm going to have you sign that.
Oh my gosh. That will now be the coolest thing I've ever done.
Yeah. So, and Hope Solo is going to be at the show. I'm going to try to get her to sign it too.
Oh, I have not met her. That'd be awesome.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. What a special achievement. We were trying to do the math and figure it out, Katie. We think by all accounts, there's only 3 living gold medalists out of Northeast Ohio right now, including yourself and Layla Edwards, who just won gold with Team USA, and Diana Muntz for swimming, won in Sydney. So you were in a very select group crowd here in Northeast Ohio, and was just looking at your resume. I half kiddingly said earlier, you're a collector, because you sure have collected a lot of accolades. Starting in high school, you were a state champion, Division II national champion at Ashland for the NCAA. You've won the Pan American Games silvers at the World Indoor Championships, gold at the World Athletics Championships. You've got a gold and a silver at the Olympic Games. This is a hobby show. I want to make the connection a little bit to what collectors can take away from your career as well. And I guess the first question would be the attention to detail that's required for pole vaulting in particular. Has some parallels to the amount of details that collectors go through. What can you talk about in the form of preparation, and what goes into a big event, or a big iconic world event that you can talk about the attention to detail and preparation?
Yeah, I mean, everything that I do is very technical, so it really is all about staying very mentally on. And I know that sounds kind of obvious, but I think it's really easy to just kind of go through the motions and go to autopilot. And there are just so many fine details with pole vaulting. It's so technical. And if you get away from your cues, then it's really easy for just like it, it's minute little things, but at the takeoff, if you're a little too close, a little too far away, then it's going to kind of change the whole trajectory of your jump. And so, yeah, it's it really comes down to just staying kind of mentally on. That was the biggest thing that I changed working with my current coach, and the one that really took me to this level. And he was the coach that won me every major medal that I have, was how to think on the runway and how to focus and how to cue and not just kind of go through the motions, and just making sure that, everything, you're very intentional with your thoughts, and then it bleeds into your actions. And so by practicing that way, it then works, your brain kind of works the same way, and you're able to focus through the emotions in the championship settings when all of the chaos and mental chaos is going on.
This might sound like, I don't even know the right word for it, but you have different things you use. How do you pick the actual pole, the stick? Like, is that something that like, it's not just you grab one off the shelf and you use it, right? Is there a preparation with that?
Yeah. So I actually traveled to a competition with around 10 different poles, because they vary in how long they are and how stiff they are. So when I warm up and I'm only coming in from a shorter approach, you're not bringing in as much speed. Think of them as a spring coil. The easier it is to press it down, it's not going to rebound as quickly. So ideally you want to get on a bigger, higher flexed pole. And but it requires more energy, more speed, more power. And if you're able to bend the pole and get upside down on it, it's going to throw you way higher, way faster. So your potential is much, much higher. Your ceiling is much higher, but you have to be able to land safely into the pit. So yeah, I actually do have a variety of poles that I go to different competitions with. And I have a garage full of them. I actually just donated a bunch of them to a high school club, but all of us that show up at a championship, we have our own poles. We only share in worst case scenarios. Our poles don't make it, but we all are on different ranges and different sticks.
Is there a favorite? Like, do you have a favorite one? Is there one that like this is the winning one?
It's funny is my coach taught me that it's always the next one. Like, you don't get comfortable. You always want to like push, because if you are, eventually you will get to one that you can't get on the next one, and that's the one that's going to toss you. But for example, in 2021, when I went to the Olympic trials, I was on their flex number. So the lower the number, the stiffer it is. So I was on my 16.8. And then at the Olympic Games, just about a month later, I was on 4 poles softer. So it just, on any given day in any different stadium, anything can be different. The wind is different. The plant box is different, where you literally put the pole in the ground to go up over the bar. It's just, everything's made by humans. And so human error, you just never know. On any given day, anything can be different. So yeah, we have a variety.
A former lifetime, Katie, I was an athlete, high school athlete. I've run in sports. I can imagine the track part of running. The field part completely escapes me.
Yeah.
I think it takes a remarkable human mindset and acumen to do what you do in pole vaulting. And I'm curious as to, it takes also a remarkable set of experiences for a young athlete in track to sort of come to that, to realize they can run down the track, they can plant the pole, they can launch themselves over a bar. Can you go back to that moment and remember what it was about attracting you to the sport, and what at a young age mentally prepared you to be capable to do that?
Yeah, I think when I was a kid, I was just so fearless and wanted the most adrenaline rush sport you could possibly imagine. So that worked out quite nicely. The older I got, the more I think I realized how potentially dangerous it was. So actually the fear element came in quite a bit later. But yeah, I started when I was 12, and I just loved anything involving upper body strength and, like I said, adrenaline. So I was trying every sport that I possibly could. And the first day they took us to the track, I saw the high schoolers doing it, and I begged my coaches for several days to let me go over and try it. They finally did. And yeah, I think as I got older, and I talked about just learning how to think on the runway. And it looks quite complicated, and obviously it is, but it can be pretty simple as long as you can cue and tell your body exactly how you want it to move. And my coach is a big advocate for the best athletes know how to think. They don't just shut their mind off, but they don't overthink it. And that's something we've worked really hard on for the last several years. And I'm very quick to believe the bad, if you will. I'm very quick. If I have a bad day, I'm a bad pole vaulter. It ruins my mood. Or at least it used to be like that. And so he helped me to kind of stay a little more calm about it and, think my way through it. And then now it's become one of my bigger strengths.
So at the Olympics, there's the Olympic Village, and you get to be with all these different athletes. Have you ever been starstruck?
Yes, a little bit. I did get to meet LeBron and like a bunch of the NBA players this most recent Olympics. That was really cool. Actually, you were talking about the Masters. I walked past some of the golfers in the Village. That was really cool. It was Colin Morikawa and I think Wyndham Clark. Is that right? Am I saying the right people that were at the Olympics? And I feel like I was more starstruck walking past them even than the NBA guys. Don't get me wrong. I don't even remember what I said to any of them, but I knew that I would not get the opportunity again. So I asked if I could get
Did you get a chance to go to any other events, like as a spectator?
I had the opportunity and I actually opted out of it just because I knew that I needed to stay as focused as possible. So if I had stuck around a little bit, then I would have. But my husband's friend had a wedding in Italy like 2 days after my final, which was incredible. And it was nice because I got to go there and just decompress. But the first Olympics, we didn't get to go to anything. It was very like with COVID, we weren't allowed anything. And so I think that really worked to my advantage. It just didn't allow for any distractions. And so I did try to keep it as consistent to that as I could. But obviously, what's going on. And I watch everything on my phone. I just knew going to the events would be it would take a lot out of you.
So the next games are in LA, right? In 2028.
Yes, they are.
Is there a chance you're going to participate?
We're going to try. We try out every like a month before the games. So it's not like a team sport where you need to build chemistry for a long period of time. So I am 34, so I'm definitely getting onto the later side of my career, but with how well last year went and, as long as I can stay healthy and I'm enjoying it, there's no reason to hang it up. So we're going to try, but I am going to be very realistic about it, and everything at this point is a cherry on top, but it is a goal for sure.
Well, Katie, we're going to catch up with you again this weekend on Saturday at the Great Lakes Collectors Convention. Greenie asked earlier about, you collecting anything. Is there anything out there that you would like to see or would be a cool piece of memorabilia? Maybe it'll be out there this weekend.
My gosh, I'm a huge Cleveland sports fan, and I grew up, in the 90s with, that Indians team and, the Browns. And I just, there really would be, there's so many things. I loved the old Cavs, like blue uniforms. And so I'm sure there'll be things there that I'm going to be pretty excited about. And just like, we don't get trading cards. So my sport, that's not something we trade, but I've started trading bibs. So we get our name pinned on our uniform. And, so some of the girls I compete against, I've started trading those. So I am getting into it into my own way.
Well, fantastic. Well, great. We look forward to seeing you this Saturday. You'll be in here at 1:00. We have a cool little interview that people can watch and sit, and then afterwards sign some autographs. And we'll be looking forward to seeing you this Saturday.
Awesome. I'm looking forward to it.
Cool. Thanks, Katie. We appreciate it.
Hey, thanks so much.
Absolutely. Thank you guys.
See ya. Bye.
Very cool stuff, Greeny, and
Very
much more to
cool.
come this weekend out at the Independence Field House. We'll get to spend some more time diving into Katie's career, and by the way, the autographs are free on Saturday with Katie Moon. So we encourage you to bring your families out, bring the kids out, come and meet an Olympic gold medalist from Northeast Ohio.